Let us start today's work, today's class. Yesterday, I have gone through yesterday, I have gone through a problem, but we could not finish it. Let me start from the beginning itself. So, a simple ammonia, NH3 means ammonia, vapor compression cycle system has compression with piston displacement 2 cubic meter per minute, which means the volume served by the compressor or volume compressed by the compressor or volume delivered by the compressor is 2 cubic meter per minute of the refrigerant itself. A condenser pressure of 12 bar means compressor compressed the refrigerant up to a pressure of 12 bar, which is the higher pressure as per our earlier discussion, and evaporator pressure 2.5 bar, which is lower pressure, which is the inlet pressure of the compressor itself. So 12 bar is the outlet pressure and 2.5 is the lower pressure of inlet pressure of the compressor, which in turn defined as the higher pressure of the refrigerant system and lower pressure of the refrigerant system itself respectively. Now here, the liquid is subcooled to 20 degrees centigrade by soldering the liquid line to suction line itself. So what happens here? Liquid line is supposed to be joined with the suction line. Means suction line is the point which is the line or the delivery line of the refrigerant system from evaporator to the compressor itself. That is the suction line. And one thing that so liquid line is the outlet of the condenser condenser, where two total vaporized evaporant is condensed into liquid evaporant at the end of the suction end of the condensation line itself. They are saying that 20 degree liquid is subcooled by 20 degree by soldering the liquid line to suction line. Means it is reduced liquid is after the isothermal expansion in the condensation process, it is further cooled as a liquid state by 20 degrees centigrade. This we have told that in order to improve the refrigerating effect or COP of the refrigerating system, improve a bit. The temperature of vapor leaving the compressor is now 100 degrees centigrade. So it is shown that at the end of compression, this refrigerant is in superheated state, and the final, when it is left leaving the compressor, that is at the point 2 here in the slide, its temperature is equal to 100 degrees centigrade or equal to 373 degree Kelvin itself. Now, heat rejected to compressor cooling water is 5,000 kilojoule per year. So, what is the heat? What is the heat rejected during the evaporating process is already given. That is equal to 5,000 kilojoule per hour, and the volumetric efficiency of the compressor is 0.8. Means what is the amount of this volume which is per minute served by the compressor is given by 2 cubic meter, and its volumetric efficiency is 80%. Means 100% volume it is generated with the compressor cannot be converted cannot be delivered. Only 80% will be delivered due to leakage or some other reason itself. So what we are supposed to do, we have to calculate the capacity and indicating power itself. Just 1 second. Now, what we are doing here, just a second. Now, what we are supposed to calculate here, the capacity, indicated power, and CFP of the system itself. Capacity means how much, what is the maximum capacity of the refrigerating system, although, and what is the indicated power, means the power which is absorbed during the compression, and coefficient of performance of the system itself. So what is given? Vp, the volumetric displacement or piston displacement or volume delivered by the compressor by is equal to 2 cubic meter per minute volume, that is equal to volume delivered by compressor, and P2, P2 dash, P3 dash, and P3 are equal to 12 bar. What is given here? That is P2 pressure at the point 2 at the outlet of the compressor. P2 dash is the pressure at the point 2 dash, which is situated on the vapor saturated line, and after the temperature of the refrigerant reduced from 2 to T2 to T2 dash, it reached that point on the vapor vapor saturated vapor line. T3 is the outlet temperature pressure at the outlet of the condenser, and T3 dash temperature outlet at the compressor, which is situated on the liquid saturated line, and T3 is the final temperature of the condensation after it is totally released from the condensation itself, and which is subcooled there. But all these three operations, stage 2 dash, 3 dash, and 3 are of constant pressure of isobaric process of bar equal to 12 bar, which is supposed to be the outlet pressure of the compressor, and which is supposed to be the higher pressure of the for refrigerating system itself. At the same time, P1 and P4, the pressure at the entrance of the compressor, at the entrance of the compressor itself, and P4, temperature at the entrance of the evaporating system or refrigerator itself. Both are equal, and thus the lower pressure system, thus the total isothermal heat release isothermal heat release or refrigerating effect is being done on isothermal process, which is equal to P1 equal to P2, also which happens to be the lower pressure of the system itself, and it's given by 2.5 bar itself. Next is temperature T3, temperature at the outlet, of the condenser system after the subcooling here, which is equal to 20 degrees centigrade, and is equal to 293 degrees centigrade. T2 is the temperature at the outlet of the compressor here, which is equal to 100 plus 273 is equal to 373 degree Kelvin, and eta V is the volumetric efficiency of the refrigerant system itself. Now, the TS and diagram we have shown here. What is given? That is 259 is the inlet temperature of the compressor, as well as that inlet temperature of the compressor, as well as the inlet temperature of the evaporator itself, which is given by only 20 degrees centigrade, that is 293 that is 259, and T3 is the exit temperature after the subcooling, which is given by 293 itself. 303 and T2 103 is equal to 273 here, that is given here, and efficiency of the bar is given as 0.8. Now, what is DSR diagram are giving us? From the pH diagram, which is from here, that is pressure enthalpy diagram, we find the evaporating temperature corresponding to 2.5 bar, that is equal to the lower pressure, and that is equal to the temperature, the lower pressure equal to 2.5 bar, or inlet pressure of the evaporator, as well as the your compressor is given as T1, which is equal to T4. T4 is equal to minus 14 degrees centigrade, is equal to minus 14 plus 273, 259 degrees centigrade itself. Question is, how we'll know this is how will you know the temperature at T1 is equal to minus 14 degrees centigrade? We'll know it from the psychrometric chart of the ammonia itself. Now, the condensing temperature corresponding to 12 bar is T2 dash, which means here, this is here as well as here, which is given as 30 degrees centigrade at 30 plus 273 plus 303 degree Kelvin itself. This is also not given in the problem, but it is available from the psychrometric chart. If you put the points of, put the inputs like pressure as well as pressure, inside pressure and outside pressure itself. It is also available for psychrometric chart. Volumetric specific volume of dry saturated vapor 2.5 is given as 0.49 cubic meter cube per kg. Specific manage through the pressure between cubic meter per minute. That is at the point 1. This is also available from the psychrometric chart itself. Enthalpy of dry saturated vapor at point 1 is equal to H1. That is also given from the chart itself. It is 1421. Means it is the enthalpy at of the dry saturated evaporant as a refrigerant at the outlet of the evaporator at the inlet of the compressor itself, which is given as 1428 kilojoule, and this is as it is situated over the point over dry saturated line, so it is easily available by drawing a temperature line 259 rightwards, which will intersect dry saturated line at 1 itself. Now at the point 1 itself, so this is available here from the system. Same is the case with this is also psychrometric chart, or otherwise it will be given. And enthalpy of the superheated vapor at the point 2, where temperature is known, is given by, that is 1630. That's also from psychrometric chart itself. And enthalpy of subcooled liquid at 20 degrees centigrade at point 3, HF3. Subcooled liquid means it is at the point 3, means this is the case is that condensation operation starting at the point 2 dash on the dry saturated vapor line, and reached at the point 3 dash on the wet saturated vapor line, and then it is further cooled, and after when it is coming out from the condenser, this is the point 3, which is subcooled here, and then sending to the expander, where it is expanded, or throttle valve, where it is expanded from 3 to 4 itself and entered into the evaporator itself. So what we are getting here, from the chart, we are getting what is the enthalpy of the subcooled liquid at point 3, which is equal to H3 is equal to 270 degree Kelvin itself. Let Fg is the mole refrigerant in kg per minute. We know that piston displacement is given by Vp, the mass flow refrigerant multiplied by piston displacement, or the volume compressed is mass flow of the refrigerant multiplied by the volume supplied by the refrigerant. That is means this is the kg per kilojoule per kg multiplied by the volume meter cube per second, means kilojoule is converted into kilojoule per second divided by the efficiency, volumetric efficiency, and or Fg, which is given as Vp multiplied by eta V divided by V1 itself, where the efficiency is 0.2 and the complete volume after compression is equal to 2 kg per cubic 2 meter cube per kg divided by before volume to 0.49, that is 3.265 kilojoule per minute of the calculation itself. So the refrigerating effect per kg of the refrigerant is given by H1 enthalpy at the point 1 at the point of outlet minus HF3, which is the enthalpy at the point 3, which is the inlet of the volume of the throttling valve, which remains same at the outlet of the throttling valve, as we are saying, thinking that there is no heat transfer takes place in the throttling valve, which is a assumption, but it's not totally wrong. So we put this these two values here to get the refrigerating effect of the refrigerator itself, 1158 kilojoule per kg, and total refrigerating effect, which is the mass flow of the refrigerant multiplied by the heat transfer during the refrigerant process, which is given that calculated as 3.25 multiplied by the heat transfer here 1.58. So this becomes 3748 kilojoule per kg. The total refrigerating effect is going on the 3.8781 kilojoule per kg. So the capacity of the system, how much tonnage it is going on, it is 3.87 divided by 210 ton, which is equal to 218 ton. This is the capacity, 80 tonnage of refrigerating effect, 18 tonnage of refrigerating effect. Okay, next let us go to the indicated power of the system. Now let us go for the indicated power of the system itself. So how much input, how much power is supposed to be put in the compression process, that is the indicated power of the system. And if you want the break output of the system, then how much pressure, how much energy is compression is converted to compressing is given by the indicated break output, which is not required for this event. So much, which is how much energy is being put in the compression, we are supposed to do it without taking into account the efficiency of compression system. Now, the work done during the compression of the refrigerant is mass flow rate of the refrigerant, which is given, and H2 minus H1 is the enthalpy at the outlet minus enthalpy at the inlet itself. So mass flow multiplied by the enthalpy at outlet and enthalpy at inlet, we have calculated from the MRF graph. So it is 359.53 kilojoule per kg. Now heat rejected to the condensing compressor cooling water Now, heat rejected to the compressor cooling water is given as 5,000 kilojoule per hour itself, or 5,000 divided by 60, which is equal to 83.33 kilojoule per minute itself. So what is going on? The work done is done by the flow of the refrigerant, which I have calculated here. That is 3.265 multiplied by the change in enthalpy from difference between H2 and H1, where H2 is the outlet of the enthalpy at the outlet of the compressor. H1 is the enthalpy at the inlet of the compressor. Put the respective value. We got the work done during the compression is 359.53 kilojoule per kg. Now, heat rejected to compressor cooling water is 5,000. If we convert it into the heat rejected per sec per minute, it will be have to divide it by 60, which is become 83.33 kilojoule per minute. So total work done by the system, which is required, is 659 during compression of the refrigerant plus the heat rejected to the outlet. So is heat rejected to the outlet is 83.33, which this amount of energy is rejected to the cooling water, compressor cooling water, which is given here at the beginning. This is the heat rejected to the compressor cooling water. Totally, so this is the amount of energy required for compression. This is the amount of energy it is required for cooling the condenser compressor itself to make it workable. So the total work should be done by 659.53 plus 83.33. So total work by the system is become, if you have to add them together, 742.86 kilojoule per minute. So this is the work a compressor is supposed to be done to make the system to run the system as per our requirement. So this is our indicator power itself. As indicator power is supposed to be represented in terms of kilowatt. So if I divided this thing is in front of divided by 60, then it will become 12.660 per 12.38 kilowatt or 3.38 kilojoule per second itself. So we have to convert it in terms of kilojoule per second, which is equal to 1 kilowatt is equal to 1 kilojoule, 1 kJ per second. So we have to convert it, and so this is supposed to be the indicated power in terms of kilowatt. Indicated power or break output power is supposed to be represented by kilowatt as per our convention itself. So the COP of the refrigerator now becomes total refrigerating effect, which is we have calculated here, is the refrigerating effect per kg of the refrigerant, and total refrigerant effect is 37.81 that is put here, and total work done is given by 472.86. So if we divide the total refrigerant effect by total work done, we'll get the COP, which is equal to 5.11. Now let us go through the next problem. Here we are also using ammonia at 2.5 bar, and it is shown in the problem that all the pressures, pressure, specific volume, enthalpy, and specific entropy is being given by the problem itself, so that we don't have to consider psychometric chart. Generally, in your exams, as nobody knows which will be the refrigerant given in the exam, so all this input is supposed to be given by the given in the problem itself. So the saturated ammonia at 2.5 bar, which means ammonia enters a 160 millimeter by 150 millimeter bore into stroke length twin cylinder. Means what is the volume of the cylinder is given. Bore means the area of the cross section of the compressor multiplied by the stroke length, means how much the volume of refrigerant the compressor can compress as per its speed in generally in minutes is given. An active single acting compressor whose volumetric efficiency is given by around 79% and speed is given by 250 rpm. So speed is given, how much it is running, how much revolution or how much you can compress per minute. We have to calculate volume per minute. We have to calculate from here. The head pressure is 12 bar, means the it is in pressure is entering the compressor at 2.5 bar and compressed up to 12 bar, and outlet of the pressure of the compressor is written as head pressure. The subcooled temperature here, it is subcooled again, means it is not fully cooled at the exit of the condenser, but after the exit of the compressor from exit to the inlet point of the throttling valve, a portion of this cooled and converted into totally liquid. So at the exit of the compressor, it is supposed to be not totally converted the vaporized vapor refrigerant vapor to the liquid refrigerant, but after supercooling, it is totally converted into the refrigerant effect itself. Now, what is given? The subcooled liquid ammonia at 22 degrees centigrade entered the expansion valve. So it is a temperature T3, which is at the exit of the exit of the condenser pipe and at the entrance of the existing expansion valve itself. For a standard refrigerating cycle, find the ammonia circulate, the refrigerant tonnage of the refrigerant, and the CAP of the refrigerator cycle. Let us refer to the following table. Other than all the documents given in all the information given in the table, the specific heated constant pressure for liquid ammonia is given, and that for superheated ammonia vapor is also given here. So let us find out. Let us plot all these inputs one by one itself. So the specific heat at constant pressure. Let us given P1 and P4. What is P1, which is given here? Pressure at the entrance of the compressor itself, and or at the exit of the evaporator, and P4 is the pressure at the outlet of the expander valve, and it is at the entrance of the refrigerator system. So the evaporating process 1 and 4, as per our cycle which we are following, is isobaric or constant pressure process. So the pressure at P1 is equal to pressure at P2, and which is given as 2.5 bar as per in our table itself. So pressure P1 to P4 2.5 bar, which is given here. Now next comes what is the diameter is given here as 160 by 100 millimeter. So diameter 160 millimeter is equal to 0.16 millimeter, and length 150 millimeter, length of the shaft length, or the amount of volume or length this compressor piston is moving up and down. Generally, we always use reciprocating compressor in our compressor system itself. So length is given as 0.15 meter cube, is 150 meter is equal to 0.15 meter itself. Number of cylinder is 2. Then volumetric efficiency is 79% or 0.79. The RPM is given as 150 millimeter RPM itself. Next, what is pressure P2? Pressure at the outlet of the compressor and pressure at the inlet of the inlet of the condenser system, which means that is given as 12 bar. So what is this? Pressure at the outlet of the compressor is given here, P2. Pressure at the outlet of the condenser is equal to P3. The pressure outlet of compressor that is P2, and P3 pressure at the outlet of the subcooling system, pressure at the end of subcooling. Generally, it is subcooling is computed is being done at the delivery pipe of the refrigerant from condenser to the expander itself. So this, and 3' is the pressure at the outlet of the condenser, and 2' is the pressure, P2' is the pressure at the inlet of the condenser itself. So all this pressure P2, P2', P3' and P3, which is the higher pressure of the system itself, and is given by, I think, 14 or 12 bar, is given by P2 bar itself. Now let us go through the temperature. T3, temperature at the outlet of the condenser, is given by 22 degrees centigrade. The subcooled liquid ammonia enters at 22 degrees centigrade, enters at the expansion valve. So that is T3, the temperature at the entrance of the throttle valve, temperature of the refrigerant at the end of subcooling or at the end of expansion valve is T3 itself. Temperature at the entrance of throttling valve temperature at the end of throttle valve or outlet as equal to outlet of the condenser delivery line. Now that is equal to 22 degrees centigrade. You can convert it to Kelvin by adding 273, which is 295 degree Kelvin itself. T1 is equal to T2 is equal to minus 15 degrees centigrade. T1 is the temperature at the entrance of the compressor itself, and which is equal to the temperature at the entrance of the evaporator, which, and this is as well as equal to the which is condenser system, which is equal to the lower temperature of the system, and it is the isothermal temperature at which isothermal evaporating is being done, which is given as T1 is equal to T2. T1 is given as minus 15 degrees centigrade, which is saturation temperature at 2.25 bar, which is given as minus 15 degrees centigrade itself. And that is 258 degree Kelvin, and T2 dash is equal to T3 dash, with the higher temperature of the system when it is expanded isothermally in the, and heat is being released in the condenser when isothermally, which is at the higher temperature of the system. T2 dash is equal to T3 dash, is equal to 30 degree, is equal to 303 degree Kelvin itself. Now V1 is equal to 0.598 cubic meter per kg, that is equal to V1 0.5098 cubic meter per kg itself, the volume, and V2 star is 0.01 0.117 cubic meter per kg, means V1 volume at the entrance of the compressor, and V2 dash is the volume at the exit of the compressor and at the point of entering into the condenser itself. So HF1 is the enthalpy of the fluid, enthalpy of the refrigerant at point 1 in fluid stage, that is the liquid enthalpy at the lower temperature of the refrigerant, that is 112.4 kJ per kg, and HF3 is the enthalpy of the fluid at the outlet of the condenser, which is situated on the wet vapor saturation line. So it is the enthalpy at higher temperature, means at 30 degrees temperature, and it is at the point is situated on the vapor refrigeration vapor saturation line, which is given as 323.08 itself. Next, H1, the enthalpy at the entrance of the compressor, which is situated on the dry saturated vapor line and equivalent to the at the lower temperature of the system, lower evaporating temperature of the system, that is equal to 15 degrees centigrade, and it is the vapor stage. So it is to 1426 is the vapor at the dry saturated line, and H2 dash is the enthalpy of the vapor at dry saturated line when the refrigerant from superheated state is reduced to the saturation state, and it is situated on the dry saturated vapor line corresponding to temperature T2 or higher temperature of the system, higher temperature of the isothermic heat release system, that is given by 1468.87. This is given here. So SF1 is the entropy at the point 1, means at the entrance of the system, at the entrance of the compressor, or at the outlet of the evaporator, as per the lower temperature line are isothermal heat absorbing or refrigerating system line, that is SF1. Entropy at point 1 means it is on the vapor stage, vapor saturation line, correspond to the lowest temperature, which is given here as the vapor 5 point. It is equal to 0.4572, but it is in the fluid state. SF1 means it is the fluid state at point 1, and SF2, SF3, the entropy at the fluid state at point 3, which is at the outlet of the condenser, is become equal to higher line 1.203 Femin, and S1 is equal to S2, means entropy at the outlet at the inlet of compressor in vapor state, that is equal to the vapor entropy, that is 5.5497, and S2 dash is the entropy at the point 2 dash, which is situated on the vapor vapor saturated line, and it is reached after from the superheated stage at point 2 to the vapor saturated vapor stage at point 2 dash, situated on the line saturated vapor line, which is given as the vapor at higher entropy at isothermal condensation line, which is given here as 4.9842 itself. CPL and from specific heat of the liquid ammonia, specific at constant pressure, that is CP. Specific constant pressure of liquid ammonia is given as 4.06, and that of superheated ammonia is given as vaporized ammonia is given as 2.753. So what we are supposed to calculate is the ammonia circulated, the refrigeration to tonnage, and the COP. So everywhere you have to calculate all the 4 line of the 4 points 1, 2, 3, 4. All the enthalpy at 1, H1, H2, and H3, and H3 itself. So what we are doing, let the ammonia circulated in kg per meter. So MR the say, mass flow rate of ammonia in kilojoule per meter. This is the ammonia circulated. Piston volume, suction volume is of the piston is per minute is given. We can calculate from our given data the piston area that is given. The diameter is given here, pi by 4 d square. D should be converted in meter. It is given. Stroke length is converted into meter, and RPM, the movement per minute or the volume being refrigerated per minute, and the number of cylinders is 2 itself. So if you put all the respective values which is given, so you'll get the suction volume or crystal displacement volume per minute is given as 1.508 cubic meter per minute. We know we also know that piston displacement per minute is equal to mass flow rate of the refrigerant MR and mass flow rate of the ammonia in kg per minute multiplied by the volume divided by the efficiency itself. Means mass flow per minute multiplied by the volume divided is the mass, which is here V1 you have calculated is the efficiencies of the compressor is given that 0.79 is equal to 0.6453 multiplied by MR itself. Now equation, the mass flow is if we divided this MR divided by this thing divided by 64, which will give us the mass. If we divided the suction volume, piston displacement volume divided by the piston displacement per minute, where the volume supplied by the piston per minute is given by this equation, and piston displacement per minute is also supposed to be equal, because both are supposed to be equal itself, because the amount of piston displacement is the amount of volume that any compressor can have the ability to supply itself. Thus, if we equate it together, we'll get 1.508 divided by 0.6453, the 2.34 kg per minute itself. The refrigeration in tonnage what will be the refrigeration in ton or TR? We know the enthalpy of the liquid refrigerant at point 3 means at the outlet at the inlet of the throttling valve is HF3, which is equal to HF3 dash, which is the enthalpy at the point 3 dash, which is the outlet of the condenser, minus the enthalpy lost during the process T3 to T dash, which is not isothermal process. We have to multiply the temperature drop during the subcooling multiplied by the specific heat of the refrigerant at constant pressure. So we know HF3 that's 3.23 from the 3 to 23.08 minus 4.606 multiplied by 303 by 295, which is equal to 286.23 kilojoule per kg. If we multiply them and do all the calculation, we'll get the enthalpy at the point 3, means at the inlet of the throttle valve is equal to 286.23. So the total refrigerating effect will be mass flow of the refrigerant, which is the liquid refrigerant itself, given as 2.3 into multiplied by H1. It's that enthalpy we have got at the outlet of the evaporator itself, and minus the temperature at the inlet of the throttling valve, which happens to be enthalpy at the inlet of the throttle valve, which happens to be equal to the enthalpy of at the outlet of the throttle valve. So if we subtract them and multiply by the specific heat of the enthalpy at gaseous stages, which is also given to us, which is we have calculated like this is the kg per minute, this mass flow of the refrigerant. So, and the heat of the refrigerant, that is 2.668.4 kilojoule per minute. This is the amount of refrigerant going on per second itself. And if we divide it by 210, that is, will give us the tonnage itself, tonnage of the system itself. Now, COP of the cycle, we have to do the S2. First, we have to find out H2 and S2 is H2 and S2 dash itself. So what is going on? We know S2 dash is S2 is equal to S2 dash plus 2.3 the specific heat at constant pressure of the vapor itself, specific heat at constant pressure of the vapor, vaporized refrigerant multiplied by log T2 divided by T2 dash. T2 is the temperature at the end of compression, which is in superheated state, and T2 dash is the end of temperature